do you know what the story is with that S? So there's a reason this S looks like it does. And what they hope will be a national tour supporting a major act, perhaps even Def Leppard. If you take this S and flip it, so you and I saw Tesla together in concert, right? We saw them opening up for Def Leppard.
In the round.
In the round. Yeah.
In Salt Lake.
That might be the only time I ever saw them.
I've seen them since, because they've done, they did the 5-man acoustical jam.
I remember that.
Seen them for that, because they came through Boise when they did that, and pretty sure that's where I caught them. And then I seen them again in another small venue, and they were just plugged in and rocking, and just good. Obviously the first time I heard of them was the Def Leppard tour, and then I was like, these guys are kind of cool, kind of straightforward. And
that's it. I'm glad you said that, because the thing that was so interesting about this band was the environment that they showed up in the middle of. Because when you consider, and the reason we want to talk about this today is this was released in December, which is the month that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And December 8th of 1986. So as we're filming this, it would have been yesterday.
Yeah, 40 years ago.
39 years ago.
I'm going to have to do my math,
39 years ago. They released this in December, but what I was going to say, the environment at the time in 1986 is what I find so fascinating. I did another video about this, 7-8 months ago. Before we jump into this, we want to shout out Digitech, and we appreciate their ongoing support of the channel. You see we have their posters back here behind us. We've got a new pedal on the set here, and so we just want to shout them out real quick before we jump into this. Yes, indeed. I remember when this hit, and it was that same. I had that same reaction. Like, this is just straight ahead rock and roll.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is it kind of fit. There was an opening for that right at the moment, because you had a bunch of like Metallica and Megadeth and Slayer were all hitting right then.
Yeah.
And then on the other side you had Bon Jovi and Poison.
Well,
you had
metal.
the kind of that. And then some of your classic bands were kind of, losing their way a little bit. Like AC/DC was kind of wandering, and Judas Priest had put out Turbo, which people had kind of left people a little,
all those bands kind of, the Aerosmith, all those kind of left the void.
Yeah. And then these guys show up wearing blue jeans, just straight ahead rock and roll.
Yeah. They could have been walking in your mall and you wouldn't, when malls were a thing.
When malls were a thing.
I know you still shop at malls, but, the reality is they weren't like teased up hair,
right.
No makeup, they weren't Motley Crue. They weren't trying to be something they weren't. They fit more like the Aerosmith, kind of like, we're just straightforward and great songs. And, high energy, good songs.
Just really solid, straightforward guitar playing. It was just rock and roll.
Yeah, it wasn't She's My Cherry Pie or
right.
Any of that kind of stuff that was. So it was in a way refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when I first heard Modern Day Cowboy, I believe they put that out maybe just a little bit before the album was released.
Yeah, it's a
so when this came
song.
out, man, this is the one I bought, and I bought it. Like the day I was so excited about this band when it came out.
Well, you had it in college.
Yeah.
Because we went 87.
Well, yeah, because we saw them that next year
and then we saw
with Def Leppard.
Because what a great bill to be on is on the Hysteria tour, right?
Yeah. Now, I'll be honest, I did not love them in concert when I saw them opening up for Def Leppard. Now, that's true with a lot of opening bands sometimes just because of and a couple things. Also, when you're doing something in the round, that's hard.
Right.
To play in the round.
And not just the round, it was a huge stage.
Just a big, it was a big thing. So I didn't love the show, but I really, really liked them.
Yeah.
And they were just a great band.
And what's crazy is here it is, we're talking about this is their debut album. Here it is 39 years later, and they're still out there touring and stuff. I see the singer doing weird, social media stuff.
The next question is, and for you too, is had you ever heard the name Tesla before this band came out? Today it's everywhere.
Yeah, today it's everywhere. But no, prior to this, I knew of Nikola right? Tesla.
Nikola, I think is what it is. Nikola
and
Tesla.
Just because back on Long Island, he had made the there's like the Tesla lab, not Elon Musk Tesla, but there was a lab where he was like doing something, and it was in a town kind of out on Long Island, which back when he probably built it was in the middle of nowhere. But we all kind of knew it just was, and it's just a weird looking building, but I guess that's where he put that thing that you see kind of, I guess. It's kind of a cool thing. I think it's like a museum now. But
I had heard the name because we had a planetarium where they had a big Tesla coil,
right,
that they brought in.
Because didn't he like power something? I mean, not to get too nerdy, but didn't he like power something up in Colorado during?
Well, that's the funny thing.
Like with Wi-Fi.
Did you ever see the movie The Prestige?
Yes.
That's a great movie. And of course, David
him.
Bowie is playing Nikola Tesla.
Yes.
It wasn't David Bowie that played him in that movie? Pretty sure that was David Bowie.
I believe so.
So that was a great movie.
Yes.
But yeah, because he made something, and it was in Colorado, and it would just duplicate things. That didn't happen for real, but yes, there was something going on in Colorado.
I know part of the Tesla lure was something to do with, like, he powered a town with no wires, or it was like Wi-Fi powering. Like, it was bizarre, but I mean, I know the guy was brilliant. But yeah, I heard of Tesla before, not to get too sidetracked.
Yeah, and I had only heard of him because, again, they had a Tesla coil in this big show that they put on, which was pretty, all that stuff. And a guy would stand up on top of it, and he'd put his fingers up, and and arcs would shoot out of his fingers, and it was pretty cool. So anyway, I had heard of him, not like today though, but this was still, it was kind of a new thing to us. The word was not as prolific, and so then we had this album, this band Tesla, and then Mechanical Resonance. And it was just, and then I actually loved this cover. And the reason I loved it was just the colors. Just the blue, the green, kind of just almost glowed the way they put this together. Now, there's something really interesting about this cover. I don't know how many people have noticed this before. For those of us that love this classic media, I think most of us remember these things, audio and videotapes. And I recently realized that a lot of the viewers of this channel don't realize that behind this channel, there's a company called the Audiomover Digitizing Studio. And for 25 years, we've been digitizing old media like this for individuals and organizations across the United States and Canada. So if you have any old audio or videotapes you need preserved, we can help. And for anybody watching this video today, we're offering a 15% discount on any Audiomover digitizing service. Just use the discount code on the screen. So visit audiomover.com today to learn more and get an order started. First of all, in the corners, you have positive, negative, positive, negative. Just kind of a subtle little thing. Now, what I love about this logo that I think it's overlooked a lot is you have TESLA, right? Now, if you notice, the TE and LA all look like they're from the same font. Just a very blocky, blocky sans serif kind of font. But then you have this S that kind of comes out of nowhere. And there's a reason that S looks like, do you know what the story is with that S? Okay.
No.
So there's a reason this S looks like it does. If you take this S and flip it just so it's straight instead of kind of like that, just make it that way, just bend it. That is the symbol for alternating current, which is what Nikola Tesla, that was his thing. Because you had direct current, which is what they tried for a while, and it was causing, fires and that kind of thing. And so Nikola Tesla's alternating current is what ultimately won out. That's why we have alternating current like everywhere now.
Yeah.
Was because that was his thing. So anyway, just a little subtle thing they put in the logo where the S is actually the symbol for alternating current, which is kind of a cool little thing.
I mean, it's cool that they got, the name and stuff like that. I'm sure. We did just nerd out a little bit right there.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit. We're deeper than most people think. Or just
speak for yourself. So anyway, sit on the back. Here's the band. These are the two guys that started the band right there. and guitar, bass player, and then Tommy Schio, they added him later, drummer, singer. And anyway, I always thought that was such a strange picture. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It was definitely artistic, but it wasn't like the typical band pictures that we were kind of seeing with everybody, just kind of posing.
Well, yeah, and getting back to what we were saying a little while ago, I mean,
fresh.
another album I think that came out that same year was Night Song, Cinderella. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Again, blue jeans, just like rockers.
Yeah.
They don't look like Cinderella. They don't look like Poison. They don't have that Bon Jovi feel to them, which was kind of a...
Yeah, even like Skid Row and those bands, they're all kind of... They didn't look the same, but they were kind of looking the same after a while. Let's see here. Modern Day Cowboy, there it was on the first song on the second side. And the other one that really got some attention was that Little Suzi. Little Suzi on the Up.
On the Up. Yeah, that was that was pretty cool. I mean, what they did with that song.
I mean, I ended up getting it on cassette. I played the crap out of it. I mean,
I don't know if you notice it here, but it says also available
on cassette. Just in case you didn't know.
Yep.
But yeah, I played it a lot because it was high energy, straightforward. You can put it on, put my headphones on, walk to class, do whatever. Yeah, and it was just kind of good. Yeah. I mean, start to finish, right? You put the needle down, start to finish. It was a good album.
Yeah.
And I still throw it on every once in a while because it holds up, because it's good songwriting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was just going to say, Jeff Keith had this raw energy vocal. There was something about it that had that gritty.
Yeah, it sounded more, Steven Tyler, kind of a different.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going. I don't need 8-octave range.
Yeah.
I'm breaking glass. All that crazy 80s stuff that was happening. It was just more, hey, I'm just a singer. I mean, if I remember right, he had some story about he would just literally like sing driving around
driving
town
a truck.
or driving
I
truck.
think because one of the things on the back
that.
Here is they have this story of the band, and I think it's somewhere in there where they talk about that.
I mean, there's some story, right? And so
Yeah.
I guess I'll sing for a band, right?
Yeah.
He's probably doing top 40 or, listening to your classic rock station, singing along. You're like,
next thing you know, you're fronting a band, and 39 years later, you got two old guys talking about him in a podcast because we still. This is one of those albums that after all this time you go, that still kind of rocks.
Yeah, it does.
It's got some really cool stuff.
But, and I think the thing about the band or the lead singer, I forget his name, but
Jeff Keith, right?
Yeah.
Let me look.
That he's
Jeff Keith.
I mean, he doesn't take himself too seriously. He seems pretty laid back and just kind of. Man,
and the band kind of has that attitude too.
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
I'm here to please you guys. We're making music for you. It wasn't like, just help pad my pockets. I need a new limo. I need a new house on the hill. These guys didn't seem like that. They resonated with the everyday. Hey, I'm just here, want to rock. Yeah, they did have that. They definitely came across that way. And they had a couple. I mean, they had a few more albums after this. It did fairly well, right? Yeah, for sure. Yes, indeed. So here we actually have a picture of Nikola Tesla, and this is a Tesla coil up there, I believe. Anyway, it's kind of the black and white nature of this. You kind of lose some of the detail, but but the whole thing, the way they kind of go back to the whole Nikola Tesla thing, and they're kind of paying homage to it through this whole, through all the packaging and everything. Yeah, it's just pretty neat. Even in the background here, you can see that what looks like kind of a power station or a substation or something. You can see the little coils and whatever. So it was just the packaging on this thing I just thought was kind of cool. And I loved the colors. Yeah, well, I thought a little bit more of a awesome thinking man's and hey, we're just 4 or 5 sexy guys. We're trying to look cool, trying to look sexy, got my hair higher than you, Right. It came across as a refreshing thing, and the more
And
we
it
dug,
was.
the more we
That was
dug
the
into
thing.
them, it was being at the right place at the right time. You know, filling a void that was definitely needed. I mean, Guns N' Roses came out right shortly around the same time, Appetite for Destruction, and they were like more like rougher from the street, a different look altogether, right? Completely opposite. You know, if you had hair metal over here and that LA scene on one end, you had Guns N' Roses on the LA scene that looked like they hadn't, you know, maybe showered in a few days or, you know, weeks. That, you know, they from the streets, right?
Yeah.
We're here simply to rock and party and rock.
And this was more like a Guns N' Roses kind of approach too, because it had a little more of that natural blue jeans T-shirt kind of an attitude.
Yeah, because I mean, we talk about when we went to see, you know, Welcome to the Jungle. Axl's got his hair teased and you know all that, but yet when you see him come off the bus on the video, he's got his hair down.
Yep.
And then, you know, by the time Sweet Child of Mine comes around, there is no more hairspray.
Yep.
You know, it's Axl with the headband and straight hair, and that was it.
Yeah.
You know, this is our, you know, look. So, which fell in line more with this,
Exactly.
more Aerosmith and those 70s bands that just, you know, they didn't have a gimmick. It was all about the music.
Which is where we started with this whole discussion.
Yeah.
It was more that these guys were just getting back to basics, and at that time in 1986, there was that opening for a band like this to come in and make a huge mark, a huge splash. And it's interesting because it's almost like that approach, which led them to the 5-man acoustical jam, helped them survive that period when things were going through the grunge change,
the
because
90s.
they weren't that removed from that. They were more of that grounded energy kind of thing.
We're going to stay in our lane. We're not a fad.
Yeah.
We're about the music, not about what we look.
Yeah, so the
you look at them
acoustical
today,
jam
they
thing
look the
kind of worked.
same.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I mean,
Yeah.
they don't look that much different. A little older.
Couple of pounds extra, a little older.
Of course.
But still rocking it. Yeah. So I found this cool little article, and actually the reason I like this and I wanted to read through it. This was published in the Sacramento Bee on November 30th of 1986.
You know, just before it came out.
Like just over a week before the album was released, and they put this article about them. And I thought, ooh, this is going to be interesting to hear this.
What they say.
Like a week before. So here we go. November 30th, 1986, the Sacramento Bee. Quote, Nick built one machine that could produce this mechanical resonance. He had a theory about a machine that would make whatever you put in it explode, said rock guitarist Frank Hannon, as 3 other members of the group Tesla nodded in agreement. Nick is turn-of-the-century Croatian inventor Nikola Tesla, the band's namesake, the man who gave us alternating current, the telephone amplifier, the arc light, and the occasional exploding vegetable. The band Tesla, until recently known to local clubgoers as City Kid, is the latest Sacramento ensemble to release an album on a major label.
So this is their home paper.
Yeah. And that's right. They were called City Kid. I forgot to even mention that.
Yeah,
I think
I
in my
forgot that
previous
as well.
video I talked about that. But its debut LP, Mechanical Resonance, has just been released on Geffen Records, which is actually kind of a big deal too that they
Big
were on
label.
Geffen.
Yeah.
By the way, and the other band we were just talking about earlier that was also on
Guns N' Roses.
Geffen, Guns N' Roses. Yeah. So it's like Geffen kind of must have seen that too, going, there's an opening here for this kind of thing.
And possibly. I mean, David Geffen, I see in a documentary, I think it's on Netflix. The guy's brilliant. Like, what he did in the music industry is pretty amazing.
Yeah, the guy left a mark. He signed so many great bands.
Great bands.
Yeah. What the two Teslas have in common besides the name is an affinity for electric, even explosive energy. Nikola produced his in scientific laboratories, while the group has built it over 3 years of regular gigging, often at Sacramento's defunct Oasis Ballroom. The group has a couple of other things in common with Nick Tesla. Quote, he was a prodigy, said drummer Troy Lucetta over a mineral water at a Broadway nightclub recently. Prodigy aptly describes the band, which was formed in late 1982 by bassist Brian Wheat and guitarist Frank Hannon. Wheat and Hannon were 20 and 15 respectively. That's actually really interesting. A 20-year-old and a 15-year-old getting in a band together.
Yeah, but we're talking the 80s, man. It was like, what are you doing? You play guitar, I play bass. Let's hang out.
Yeah, it's just
age
funny.
really didn't matter. You're jamming in your garage.
Well, it is interesting because when you start talking about the band that they opened up for, when we talk about Def Leppard,
right? Rick Allen.
Rick Allen was like 16 when
I don't
they
think he was that old.
first got signed. Yeah, and the other guys are in their early 20s.
Dude, when they did
or
on,
actually no,
on
couple,
Through the
couple of
Night.
them were 18.
Isn't that their Def Leppard's first album?
On Through the Night, yeah.
Yeah,
That was their first big release, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was 14 years old.
Yeah, they were
young.
very young dudes. That's true.
Same thing with U2. He was the drummer was the youngest guy.
That's right. He was very young too. Huh. Yeah, anyway,
Babies.
there you go. These cute little
I mean,
young
high
drummer
schoolers.
guys.
High schoolers. Think about it.
That is nuts, man.
You know? Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah.
How many high schoolers today are like, man, should start a band? Or even thinking on those terms. It's kind of messed up that they don't think more along that.
Yeah,
You know?
true. So see, 2015, respectively, when they decided to make it big as a power pop group. Hannon is the youngest. The other members range upward in age, with singer Jeff Keith the oldest at 28. That's a pretty big range of ages for this group. The group, which gradually took its current form with the additions of singer Jeff Keith in 83, second guitarist Tommy Scio in January of 84, and drummer Troy Lucetta 4 months later, has gone through a few changes since then. Quote, "At first, we were into writing hit singles," said Hannon. "Then, when we worked with producer and group hero Ronnie Montrose,
That's impressive.
he wanted us to go more toward his sound, hard rock. After they moved on to new producers and managers, they were steered back toward radio pop rock. Their management even hired a professional songwriter, Dwayne Hitchings, who wrote Do You Think I'm Sexy and Infatuation for Rod Stewart." I love those songs, by the way.
They're good songs.
I love Rod Stewart, and I really love
those songs
tunes.
are huge for him.
Infatuation. Yeah, I love those. I love that. I love Rod Stewart. Anyway, we've never done a Rod Stewart video on this channel. We got to do it one of these days. I'm a fan. Okay, to come up with the appropriate material. None of this was foisted on the group, as members admit. Quote, "We wanted to get signed. We thought the way to do that was to write a hit single," Hannon said. "But when a representative from Geffen Records saw them and said, 'Show me you can write from the gut and not from formulas and I'll sign you,' the group knew where it was going." Quote, "We don't regret working with any of these people," Wheat said. "We were trying to write the next Stairway to Heaven or Come On Feel the Noise, and we had to go in the other direction, be ourselves. We learned a lot from them, but we needed to move on. Move on it has. The new album is a dynamic hard rock record with enough pop smarts to make the hot licks stick."
Well, maybe that's why the songs are good.
Yeah. They'd been trained.
Cut
they'd
their craft a little
experimented.
bit. Yeah.
Let's see. With a major label behind the group and heavy-duty management by Cliff Bernstein and Peter Mensch, Def Leppard, Metallica, Dokken, and Armored Saint, Tesla seems poised to score big. And that's so interesting to hear this. Because, again, this is a week before the album comes out. And they're
Nobody's heard a song yet.
Well, I think they had put out Modern Day Cowboy, had been released to some, maybe even a video might have come out.
Could be.
But it was, they were an unproven entity for sure. The group seems unaffected by its measure of success and spent much of a recent interview enthusing over its recording experience in upstate New York's 100-acre Bearsville recording complex, where the band members lived for 9 weeks and worked alongside acts as diverse as the Monkees, Till Tuesday, the Psychedelic Furs, and the Pretenders. Tesla jammed with the latter and got suggestions for a name, none of which they used, from Pretenders leader Chrissy Hind. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
That is great.
But more than name-dropping, the band members' enthusiasm was for stories about the huge spiders and bats that shared their barn loft quarters. Did you see that video that I put on Facebook with the bats? When I was in Thailand last month, I went into this one watt. Yeah, I literally, there's bats right here, right above me, hanging on the ceiling. It's trippy. I'd never been around that before. Anyway, the group is pleased with the album, produced by Michael Barbiero and Steve Thompson, a pair of opposites who were young and energetic and could get a good feel, said Lucetta. "We went back to the old school of recording," he said, which in this case meant recording all the basic tracks live. "We didn't redo or even overdub the rhythm guitars hardly at all," added guitarist Skill. Now, back to Sacramento, the group is rehearsing regularly. By the way, that's such an interesting thing because I know a lot of people that watch this channel will understand the recording process. And because the focus when you go in to record an album is to get, the basic tracks down. If nothing else, you want to get the solid drum take down. And then you can add all your stuff later, put the bass down, then guitars and all the other stuff. It's really interesting when a band can walk in there and they're so rehearsed that most of it comes out live. I read an article a couple days ago where Journey, I didn't realize this, but the album Escape was recorded almost live like this, where they had the whole thing so dialed in, all the music was so dialed in, they walked into the studio and they were able to put most of it down just all together in a band. And matter of fact, when Van Halen went and recorded with Gene Simmons the first time, that was kind of a new thing for them. Wait, what a minute, what are we doing?
We're gonna do an overdub.
What are you talking about? Yeah, it was a different thing.
And that says a lot because a band like Journey, especially in that time, they were all top flight musicians, all at their peak. So to get that and nail it with no overdubs.
But yeah, listen, we didn't redo or even overdub the rhythm guitars hardly at all.
These guys are tight. They
were
good.
Solid players. Now back in Sacramento, the group is rehearsing regularly, and Hannah and Lucetta, a family man, are working in construction while they wait for the record release and what they hope will be a national tour supporting a major act. That's crazy cool, man. They're like out working jobs, working construction while they're getting ready to go on this national tour. Little did they know, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well,
perhaps
they have not had to go back to that ever.
Yeah, I think that was the last time they worked
you don't know the finances of these guys, but hopefully they've never had to wield another hammer or.
Well, it is funny because a lot of these bands, what you don't realize is they come off of tour and they go to work. They have a job they go do. There are a lot of bands. I was listening to the singer for Kicks, an interview with him, and he was making a comment that he never once made more than $500 a week with that band.
That's
can you
impressive.
imagine? Because they were on these big tours, rock star, you're thinking, and the guy, and he made some comment, he says, it's a good thing I married a woman that actually had financial sense because he says, I never made any money with Kicks. And
you're thinking this guy's probably never worked in his life. He's been living it, the rock star life. But, you have the haves, right, that we know everybody by name, the Motley Crues and the thing. And then you have these, I don't want to say second tier, but other bands like the Kicks that, how'd they do? The Cinderellas, they only put out a couple albums, you would hope they made enough. But, as Sebastian Bach said, he got, Skid Row got kind of screwed on the royalty deal by Bon Jovi and their management team and stuff like that. So they didn't see hardly any money from their first album, which is the one that sold the most. So there's all that business dealings behind the scenes that, hey, if somebody were to say, hey, we're going to sign you, I'm saying, sure, why not? Where do I sign?
Yeah, because they're not looking at the fine print.
We're going to be rock stars, and you're 20 years old, 15 years old, right? And you're saying why not, or thinking why not? You're not really. Are you really having a lawyer check that out and be like, hey, are my best interests right here?
Most of the time, no.
And
it's the same old story.
And it's with the Tesla story, how many bands, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there watching, maybe were in a band, and you're like, we had a management team, and they're going to point you in the right direction. You're going to get signed, and you think you're close, and you put a demo out, and you're spending time, money, and energy, and how far did it get you? Still punching a clock, never really materialized, wasn't in the right place at the right time. There's plenty of bands and plenty of people, all right, what could have been?
I think it's safe to say that most bands that got signed, that was the world that they lived in.
Right.
They would go on tour. It was a little bit like being a school teacher. You teach during the year, but then when summer comes,
I think about bands like, you know, to every Anthrax or whatever, there's the Overkill and the Armored Saint and these, bands that were good, big, that we know who they are, but they weren't selling, how many platinum albums do they have, or gold even, and maybe they put out a catalog, Typo Negatives of the world, and there's a lot of bands out there that were, especially in this era, in the 80s. I mean, there was a lot of bands out there. Jackal,
Yeah.
with the,
you could come up with dozens and dozens of these bands.
Just kind of thinking, Saigon Kick. I read an article with Doug Pinnick from King's X saying, I looked myself up on the internet because people are like, man, you're worth so many millions of dollars. King's X is a successful band that's been around, has multiple albums, and yet he's like, dude, I wish I had even a fraction of the money that Wikipedia says I'm worth or whatever. Like, thank you, Doug, for your honesty, because it's true. But and those guys are still working their craft. A lot of these guys, I can't remember, there was some festival I seen in one of these, like up in Jackpot, Nevada, and it was like all these bands, and everybody was like playing that. There were like these other, these type of bands that weren't like big, but they were good.
Yeah. From
that era, your second tier type, or I don't even want to say second tier because they're good bands, but I mean,
but from a fame standpoint, that's right.
From a fame standpoint, they weren't top billings; they were the second bill or whatever. Yeah. Maybe a small club tour. What are those guys? Those guys have jobs. They gotta have jobs, right? Kicks guy, $500 a week ain't paying. Not in this economy.
No. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That would never be much. I mean, even back in the 80s.
I mean, if you had $500 a week since the 80s, every week, okay, and royalties coming in, all, for 40 years, $500 a week, that does kind of maybe add up. But
$2,000 a month, man.
Yeah.
You can't
live on that.
Survive on $2,000.
Rent today.
Yeah.
Is more than that.
Yeah.
So, unless your investments are good, these guys are punching a clock somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, for sure.
Right?
No question about it.
That's why you have some of these guys are guitar teachers and drum instructors. I mean, all the guys, on Long Island, all the guys from Dream Theater worked at like a guitar center, all of them teaching lessons. Every single one of them at the same one in Comac. They were all there. See them walking around, selling, doing things, teaching. And the store was kind of cool because you had the main floor, which was like the store. And then they had this like little like basement thing. You take these little stairs, and underneath the store was like another floor, like a basement that was carved out into all these rooms, and you had all the guitar.
Take guitar lessons from John Petrucci.
Which I did. I did for like, I don't know, a couple months.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Dude, whoa. I'm hearing this for the first time. You took guitar lessons?
I took guitar lessons from John Petrucci from Dream Theater. Tell me where it went.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Money well spent. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Helps to practice. No, I'm being dead serious.
I love John Petrucci.
He's awesome. He's one of the nice. I mean, the whole band was super nice.
They seem like just really, really cool guys.
But he was also like, hey,
dude, I love Dream Theater.
Practice, do this, do all this stuff. But the reality is that he's like, yeah, we have all of us playing a band. Like they were all pretty humble. They're like, yeah, we got something coming out, and their debut album came out just about the same time, which was, I'm going to say that might have been early 90s. Does their first album come out?
Is that right? That may be. All I know, let me tell you something. So I had a friend that I think it was Dream Theater and Queensryche were playing together. And I didn't know really anything about Dream Theater. I'd seen like a video playing in a in a music store once or something, but I knew nothing about them. But I was a Queensryche fan. I think that was what it was. And a friend of mine was like, "Hey man, I love Dream Theater and Queensryche. Come to this concert with me." I'm like, "All right," And so we bought tickets to go to this concert. I knew nothing about Dream Theater.
Sure.
And I got to tell you, one of those rare occasions where I sat down with a band playing, where I was thoroughly entertained the entire time without knowing any of the music. I was so blown away by how great the music was, how organized it was, the playing. It was so good. But again, I am notoriously bored in concerts, even with bands I like.
Sure.
And there was this one. I remember this, man. One night, this guy and I went to see them, and I sat down, not expecting much. I'm like, crap, I got to sit through an hour of this or whatever. I don't even know who this band is.
Opening act.
And then I'm sitting, and I just can't get enough of it. I'm just blown away. So I've seen them a few times since, and I always love them.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Like I said, I had no idea at the time. I didn't think anybody thought. They're completely 10-minute songs and all that kind of like super prog, rock stuff. But I think I did 2, maybe 3 months.
Dude, you're already up here in my mind, in my eyes, but you just jumped up a notch.
John
the
probably
fact that you took guitar lessons from John Petrucci.
And look, I'm not even making it up. Man. It's just cool. We're talking about guys before they made it, working jobs, construction or teaching, and like I'm not even kidding. The Guitar Center in Comac New York had the whole Dream Theater band pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
All there.
That's really cool, man.
Teaching. Correct. If anybody knows that, correct me if I'm wrong. But I know I took lessons from John. That's all I did. I paid whatever it was.
I love it.
$30, $50 a lesson. I had no idea who. I'm just like, I want to get better. Yeah. And he had his metronome and just kind of, this is where you got to practice.
You could hold down a solid rhythm. I do know that about your guitar playing.
Thank you.
It's true.
I did okay.
I played with a lot of people over the years, and it's interesting how many people were really good technically at their instrument, but they could barely keep time. Never made any sense to me. They couldn't do syncopation, just none of that stuff just never made sense to them. And you could actually do that stuff, which is actually a fundamental thing if you're really going to be a good guitar player, to have that capability.
Yeah,
so anyway.
I miss it a little bit. It's one of my things. When I put out my solo album, you guys can hear it all.
Dude, you actually, I remember you sent me a cassette tape, GRNG.
Oh my God.
I think I might still have it somewhere.
Please, no. If you did, that'd be...
Gary, it was like it was all your names or something like that. Yeah, it was
my garage band from...
That was his band. Yeah. I remember that.
I think it was Gary,
you sent it to me.
Rob, and Joe or something. I can't remember.
You mailed it to me at some point. I remember.
Yeah, we played. Cool. We played a club, a little dive bar, Cadillac Ranch.
Pretty awesome. Okay, so let's wrap up this article here. So now back to Sacramento, the group is rehearsing regularly. Blah 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 blah. Oh, here we go. This is interesting here. Working in construction while they wait for the record release. Right. Again, this is because it's a week before the record comes out. And what they hope will be a national tour supporting a major act, perhaps even Def Leppard.
Yeah.
Which is what we saw.
Yeah, exactly.
With whom they share management. There are no plans for local gigs because, as Hannon said, the Oasis is gone. There's nowhere for us to play, unquote. Last week, Tesla began work in Los Angeles on the video for its single Modern Day Cowboys, is what it says there, which is wrong. But so apparently the video wasn't out yet now that we're reading this. But I'm pretty sure the song was, because I remember hearing this. I remember knowing that this was coming out, and like as soon as it was released, I picked this thing up. So the song must have been released ahead of time.
I believe it was, because a lot of bands did that.
Did that? Yeah. An examination.
Teaser.
Exactly. an examination of brinksmanship and violence from Chicago's gangland to the superpowers arms race that is decidedly not a pop song. They're also writing songs with an eye to beating the sophomore jinx that frustrates so many young groups. That's interesting. We don't want to get forced into the studio without enough good material, said Hannon. That seems unlikely as each member of the group writes, usually in combination with other members. Between them, they have more than 35 songs ready to record. Some are left over from Mechanical Resonance, while more are always being written. The group likes to think it has one other thing in common with old Nick Tesla. Quote, he was an underdog, unquote, they said. With an album like this and a future this bright, these city kids don't really answer to that description anymore. No longer underdogs, apparently. And there's a picture of the band right there. Check them out, man.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It's a cool shot.
That is, yeah. I mean,
But it's a mark of the time, right? Sacramento kids making it big. Good for them.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it wasn't like how many bands were signing from Sacramento. I mean, it sounds like Ronnie Montrose might have been hanging out up there, but I think he was a Bay Area guy. You know, Sacramento's kind of Northern Cal. Definitely not an LA influenced scene. So, you know, there's a lot of cool things there.
Yeah.
Great album.
And the album has really, really stood up. I mean, you put this thing on today, and one of the things I remember, just getting back to what we were saying earlier about the straight ahead rock and roll. You know, you had these two guitar players that kind of really complemented each other when you listen to them on this album. Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it's the second song on the album. Coming at You Live. Because you have the one guitar player starting, and he does like this intro solo, and it's panned on one side. And you got the other guy, you know, panned, and it's like the intro to the song is them like soloing. One guy solos, and the other guy, it's like bounce, and they kind of trade solos, and then they play this riff, and it's like in harmony. You know, almost like Boston-esque, you know, and they start playing, and then all of a sudden the drums and everything kick in. Coming at you live.
There was a lot. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good tune. I mean, it's just good songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why it holds up, right? I mean, a lot of that 80s stuff, like we've talked about at length, is... You got a handful of good songs. Like, how many songs from Warrant's Cherry Pie album do you listen to? Slim to none. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe some of you do. But, it wasn't like loaded front to back, all strong songs. And you just didn't have that. And you had the one or two hits, the package stuff, and then you had the rest of the album filler, which was sometimes okay. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not throwing on Jackal and listening, from end to end.
Somebody watching this right now does.
Right?
But yeah.
I'm trying to think of Jackal songs right now, and I think it's like something about, the rain, and then the chainsaw song. Which I saw Jackal in the same venue, by the way. I'm busting on Jackal, but I seen Jackal in the same club that I saw Tesla play.
Really?
In Boise.
Okay. In Boise?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, it wasn't very big.
I have to admit, I know zero
King's
about Jackal, other than the name.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy had like the chainsaw. It's just like... It's like the chainsaw song. I don't know.
It's great, man.
Seriously. But I mean, how many people are playing that? You're not putting... And that's, I'm not busting on Jackal, but it's just one of those bands that you don't have... It's not Led Zeppelin 4.
99.9% of the bands were that.
Right. But
just
that's
the way
what
it
we're
was.
saying is that the Tesla album, this one... is stronger front to back. It doesn't have like, okay, Modern Day Cowboy, a hit, Little Suzi, but they are catchy. Like the fact that we were able to kind of even sing along a little bit, right?
Yeah.
They're catchy. Maybe because of their craft of songwriting. Happy 39th birthday, Tesla.
So the one that...
With this
is
album.
interesting too, because I'd forgotten about this. Because Little Suzi is actually not their song. Diamond, who did Little Suzi originally? Should look that up for us.
All right, Henry's going to look that up.
But they had, but yeah, when you start
Deeper
going down,
dive.
Modern Day Cowboy was great. Changes, catchy.
Yes.
I mean, again, to your point, all this stuff was catchy. And Little Suzi, I mean,
Little
and a lot
Suzi
of
on
bands,
the up?
a lot of bands had. I mean, look at Quiet Riot. Come on, feel the noise. Super catchy tune. And that's the thing.
That's not even theirs.
It's not even their song. Yeah, exactly.
Slade, right?
Yeah, and then these guys do a cover tune, and they turn it into a massive hit. So, yeah, they were.
I always thought Little Susie's was theirs, but
Yeah, it was the one I was like just remembering that at this point, as I'm thinking about it right now that
And
one
when we
was
think
not
about-
theirs.
Little Suzi was first covered by a British new wave band called PhD.
but that was their song, like Tesla's song, or
No.
the other band wrote it.
The band released it in 1981.
Oh, okay. You think it's the same one?
Well, I was just looking at the people that wrote the song, and it's nobody in this band.
Is
That's
it
what-
Phillips, Hymas, or Diamond?
Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PhD.
Oh, there you go.
Very cool.
Okay. Anyway,
Thank you, Henry. Man in the chair, always
Yes.
helping us out.
yes, indeed. But again, solid. Even one cover song on here, just a really, really solid.
The other part about
thing.
it that I do like, it and I know I said this a little bit earlier, is it is high energy. Mm-hmm. This is one of the things I feel like there's other albums that they're not fast, they're not slow, they're just kind of in the middle of the road. It does nothing for me.
I was talking about this when I did the other Tesla, because I did a video on this album a long time ago, and I think it's I'm pretty sure it's Too Late for Love. When you get to the end of the song and there's that guitar solo, one of the things that happens with it is it's chaos. The guitar gets crazy, and it's when you say high energy, that's what. There's something about the electric guitar when it gets into that chaotic, manic thing that just has some sort of energy to it that's indescribable. It's one of the things that makes it such a great instrument.
Yeah, that's a good
So-
song. Too Late for
Yeah.
Love.
A lot of great tunes on here.
Yeah, a lot of great songs.
So anyway,
I
hey,
appreciate it.
leave
Happy
your comments
39.
below. Yes, 39 years as of yesterday as well we're recording this. Leave your comments. Did you like this album? What did you think about this? And do you still listen to this? Also, follow the channel, like the video. We will also want to thank Digitech for their ongoing support of the channel. You see we have these posters back here. We've got actually a Digitech pedal now as
Yeah.
part of our set as well. So we want to thank them for their ongoing support. And with that, have yourself a fantastic day.